As we drove north towards Ben Amira, our convoy crossed a single railway line stretching across the desert. It looked unremarkable enough, yet these tracks carried one of the most extraordinary trains on Earth. The Mauritanian iron ore train hauls thousands of tons of ore from the mines at Zuera to the Atlantic coast at Nouadhibou. It can stretch for nearly 2.5 kilometers, making it one of the longest and heaviest trains in the world. For adventurous travelers, however, the cargo is only part of the attraction. People climb into the open ore wagons and spend anywhere from 12 to 18 hours or more crossing the Sahara beneath the stars, exposed to wind, cold, heat, and a relentless shower of iron ore dust. It is uncomfortable, filthy, and officially forbidden. Of course, I'd signed up. It was meant to be the final adventure of my Mauritanian journey. But travel has a way of reminding you that plans belong to reality, not to us. By then, I had developed a lung infection. There were still weeks of travel ahead in Morocco, and the thought of breathing iron ore dust for an entire night no longer sounded adventurous. It sounded foolish. For perhaps the first time on this expedition, I chose caution. Late that night, near our accommodation in Choum, the train arrived. The locomotive growled into town, pausing briefly before continuing west. At 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 members of our group hurried across the tracks and climbed aboard the open wagons, filled to the brim with iron ore. Moments later, they disappeared into the darkness behind the locomotive, followed by hundreds of ore cars stretching into the night. With great reluctance, I stayed behind. I won't pretend I wasn't disappointed. I could only wonder what I would be missing. Sometimes the greatest adventure isn't saying yes to everything. Sometimes it's knowing when to say no. Earlier that afternoon, we had explored an abandoned railway tunnel cut through the granite. It was said to be several kilometers long. As much as we would have liked to explore it, time didn't allow. Instead, we persuaded our drivers to continue just a little farther before turning back to Choum. A few kilometers later, and without ceremony, we crossed into Western Sahara. There were no crowds, no border post, just empty desert beneath a sky still veiled by the previous day's sandstorm. The haze softened the afternoon sun. Standing there before turning back, it felt strangely fitting. This journey had never really been about collecting countries or ticking experiences from a list. It had been about following curiosity wherever it led, and accepting that not every adventure ends the way we imagine.